Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Red Sea podcast. You are joined by myself, Thiago's father, 89. My co-host over here, SS. How you doing, pal? You all right?
Yeah, really well, thank you, mate. How you getting on?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. It's been a hectic week, but the good news is we kept a clean sheet and we beat Southampton. So we're marching on. We're marching on. Top four, looking like a prospect. Good news at the moment. Result with Leicester and United is currently at 1-1. Obviously, we know Man United tried to pick an understrength team to try and, make it as
Undermine
hard
it.
as possible for us to get that top four result. But we march on. Anyway, without further ado, we are joined by a very, very, very special guest. I just want to say welcome to Mitch. Mitch, can you introduce yourself for me, please, pal?
Yeah, Mitch Letitia. I guess I'm your resident Saints fan for the evening, am I?
That is,
Absolutely.
you are our resident Saints fan for the evening. Now, very, very modestly, I know that Mitch is his own man, but I do have to throw a little bit of credit there where it's due. Mitch is related to someone incredibly famous. I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna allow him to say it. Let us know the connection for me, please, pal. Let them know. Let the viewers know.
Yeah, my dad is Matt, who once scored a hat trick at Anfield. But he did score a hat trick. I think he's one of only a couple of players who scored a hat trick in a losing call. There's some stat about it. I think it's 3. But yeah, that was one of them.
Fantastic. Welcome, Mitch. It's an absolute pleasure to have you with us today.
Thanks for having me.
So, boys, Thiago time
Yeah.
at Anfield. Finally. And do you know what? I've been getting a lot of stick for this because, as you can see, my name is Thiago's father. No pun intended. My youngest son is called Thiago, so I do get a lot of stick. And he was born way before the move to Liverpool. So it wasn't just because of that. I followed Thiago's career for a long, long time, and I love him as a player. But it was absolutely fantastic to actually see him jump on the score sheet on the weekend. Not only on the score sheet, he played incredibly well throughout the game. SS, talk to me about Thiago's performance. What's your thoughts?
That was good, wasn't it? I mean, he did actually play quite well the week before, I thought, against Newcastle. So we've seen signs of him, pulling this game together. And he's had a lot of stick, hasn't he, since he joined the club. We expected him to hit the ground running, and he really didn't, did he? It took a lot of time, and he had that little period against Chelsea when they were down to 10 men. He looked really good, but he's dipped in and out, and the midfield and the defense behind him has been poor. But no, you got back where credit's due. He had a good game against Southampton. It was, it still was I think we were still expecting more from him this season. But what a great goal! And every time I watch it back, it gets better outside the box. Driving that into the bottom corner, it was a joy. And yeah, it's been a while since we won at Anfield, isn't it? So it made a nice welcome.
I know. I mean, just touch on the goal, and I want to get your take on it, Mitch. I know you're a Saints fan. Well, you weren't always a Saints fan, were you, Mitch? Come on, before we go into the goal, let's spill the beans on that. What happened?
So when I first got into football, Mum and Dad sort of split up, and I'd gone back to Guernsey with my mum, and it was sort of 1998 World Cup fever, and it was obviously Michael Owen mania at the time. He was a superstar. He was the poster boy, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, I was just him and Jamie Redknapp actually as well were my 2 favourite players in the England team. And that kind of, as a kid, I ended up following Liverpool. I had shirts and all sorts. I was mascot as well.
Wow.
Yeah, which Dad bought, I think, in an auction. That's my Christmas present one year. I think I was about 10, maybe 11. I walked out with Sammy Hippier. That was pretty cool, to be fair. But that was a long time ago now. So I've been a Saints fan for the best part of 20 years now. So I think I can get away with it.
Yeah, we'll give you that. We'll give you that. It's a shame that you're a turncoat, but we'll give you that. We'll give you that.
Yeah. I can't really argue that.
Yeah. So someone's got to, isn't they? And if it's going to be for any team, you're going to trade it for Southampton. I think we can say is acceptable, as they do seem to be our donor club. Obviously, we've had a few players from you boys. Some have done well. Yeah, some have done well, some haven't. We're not going to talk about Ricky Lambert. But
One bad word about Sir Ricky Lambert.
What a legend. Just not a Liverpool.
Just not a Liverpool, no. But yeah, just flicking it back to Thiago. I mean, what a performance! Passing was sensational. He was knitting things together. He was breaking into the final third as well. I think his game excelled a lot more during that game because he didn't feel like he was worried about what was behind him. He had Fabinho covering that space, which was nice to see. It's been a rarity seeing Fabinho in that holding role and having Thiago playing more advanced. And it seems like every time we do that, we actually get fairly good results. Obviously, with the inconsistency between in our defence in terms of injuries and centre backs, Kobak's out injured. Nat Phillips has been out injured as well. They've been the two mainstays in this hectic season. But it did really free Thiago up to actually go there and do the damage. You know what he's capable of. He's never really been a goal scoring midfielder, but he's always been that playmaker. And on the weekend, we saw just a glimpse, just a little flicker of what he can actually do. Now, I want to flick it over a little bit and talk about Southampton's performance, because we know what Southampton are capable of. They do play decent football under Hasenhüttl. But talk to me about your thoughts on it, Mitch. Where did you think that Southampton went wrong in that game up against Liverpool?
I thought we started okay. We had a couple of chances, didn't we, in the first half? Alisson made a decent save. Jay Adams had one where he sort of messed up before it really got to a chance as well. But we started okay. Like you say, I think, obviously, I mean, Thiago's got proper quality. You know, he's a top draw footballer. I think we give him too much time on the ball. Probably a little bit of that was Stuart Armstrong's playing central midfield. He normally plays in sort of one of the wide, inverted commas, they don't play as wide men, do they? But one of the sort of two more attacking midfielders. And he was in there with Ward-Prowse, and I just think he's probably not quite as defensively responsible as someone like maybe Oriol Romeu or even Diallo who come on later in the game, which obviously allowed Thiago. I mean, you give a player of that quality, time and space, they're gonna take you apart, and that's what he did really. It wasn't the worst. I just think for us it's just drifted ever since we beat you really in early January. It's just gone flat. We've been on the beach really for 4 months. It's kind of got to that point where you just sort of want the season over really and start again fresh next year, hopefully with a pre-season behind the wrap and get them going again early doors and see where we can get to next year.
Well, it's funny that, because you think about the amount of emphasis that came after that result, Hasenhüttl breaking down on the touchline, the tears, it was because we'd been on a bad run before that. And then for us to go there and for you to beat us in the way that you beat us, that's got to come as a big scalp for Southampton. They're probably looking at it thinking, yeah, we can really kick on here, because you've got a good side. I mean, you look at Danny Ings, obviously ex-Liverpool player, when fit, phenomenally good player, very, very good striker. It's a shame that he never got the opportunities that he really needed in the Liverpool shirt. You then look at Ward-Prowse, one of the best dead ball specialists, I think personally, this country's seen since David Beckham. His set piece delivery is sensational. But
not just his delivery, but when he's shooting from free kicks, it's scary how accurate he is. I would say he's the best I've ever seen. Like, we get a free kick 25 yards out, and you think it's 50-50 whether he'll score or not. Like a normal play, I don't know. I have no idea. I've never done the stats, but it feels like maybe they score 1 in 10. With him, it just feels like if you get one central 25 yards out, you think there's every chance here.
Yeah, I've got a good comment here, James. If I could just jump in a second.
Yeah, of course.
Mitch, just wanted to kind of ask you, mate. Obviously, like you say, since that Liverpool win, Southampton have been on a bit of a downward spiral. Obviously, currently find themselves 17th, just one above the relegation, even though the relegation, has been confirmed. So, do you think that's a case of, like you said, Southampton have been on the beach for 4 months? You found yourself in no man's land, or would you put a little bit more at the feet of the manager? And a good comment from Soups, who would you like at the helm next season? Do you think Hasenhüttl's done enough? Is 17th completely unacceptable?
I mean, 17th is a long way below what we would have liked to have done this season. I think, especially the start that we had, we were top of the table in early November.
Yeah.
It's been a weird season, hasn't it? I think you guys as well have probably suffered from the no crowd. I wouldn't say that was our problem. We were pretty poor at home before the fans were locked out, to be fair. We've had a lot of injuries to key players at bad times with Ings and Vestergaard and Romeo, and Walker Peters missed a few games. We've not had the consistency with the goalkeeper. We've had chopped and changed all season. McCarthy was good at the start, then he fell off. Forster come back in, he's done okay. Then it's McCarthy again, then it's Forster. We've had all that to contend with. We've kind of had this kind of ongoing contract situation with Danny Ings, with Ryan Bertrand as well, who looks like he's going to leave. It's just been a really weird season, hasn't it? And not have it. I think when you try and play it with in a similar way to, I think Sheffield United probably are the ones who suffered the most without the fans because of the way they play. It's all about intensity. It's all about getting your face. It's all about obviously Liverpool at a higher level as well. It's that intense pressing. It's that what Klopp calls heavy metal, doesn't he? And I think when you play that sort of high intensity, you need that the crowd to get you to do those sprints when your legs are gone with 10 minutes to go and you need to shut the ball down. I think we've probably suffered a little bit from that. It's been a weird season. I think my view on Ralph is there's a couple of things to it. Are we going to get anyone better? Is he doing the best with what is really a poor squad? Let's be honest. We've got a decent enough 11. We've got very little beyond that. I think we lack quality in attacking areas away from Ings. We brought the boy in from Liverpool, who I think is a good player. He's not really, Redmond very, very inconsistent as his moments, but he has a lot of poor games as well. Gineppo, young, raw, gives the ball away. He's probably doing an okay job with the squad that he's got. I'm not sure. There are Saints fans that want him out, want him gone, think he's a fraud and all that stuff, but I'm not sure. I think he overachieved massively earlier this season, and to judge him against that is very harsh. I would give him the pre-season and probably 6 to 8 games at the start of next season to show that he can get us going again. And probably the other thing with, like I say, with the intensity and the way he likes to play is obviously the season started a month late as well, so it's been a bit compacted as well. And there hasn't been the recovery time. He loves it. He loves his sprint stats and all that stuff. So again, similar. He is like a poor man's Klopp, isn't he? And we're a bit of a poor man's Liverpool in terms of the way we play. It is about the pressing. It is about that high intensity, and I think that is definitely. I give the Sheffield United example, Liverpool example. The team that keeps the ball the best has won the league by a mile. So probably not coincidence, given the demands on the players this season. So, in answer to your question, I'd give Ralph 6 to 8 games at the start of next season to show us that he can get us going again. Otherwise, I think maybe then at that point, if we've only got a couple of points after 8 games, it probably would be time for a change.
So, with that being said, if you could nail your colours to the mast, and next season you get that 8 games, he's not where he should be. Yeah, he's not hitting the level which you think, and you're lacking down, potentially teetering relegation place, and the board come out and act. Who would you go for? Who would you get in that position?
This is a debate that's been going through the sort of Saints Twitter. I think there's been a lot of people going, "Oh, Ralph out, he's this, he's that," and the question that gets fired back from the people who are still in support of Ralph is, "Well, who would you get?" I mean, there's no names that spring to the top. I mean, you're looking at like Marco Silvers and people like that, I guess. And is he really coaching Hasenhüttl? Probably not.
I mean, Southampton. Yeah, Southampton haven't had terrible coaches over the last couple of years. You think you had Mark Hughes, you then had Pochettino.
We've had some coaches, let me tell you, Mark is a terrible. Who played for you is a terrible coach, and the one before him is the worst of the lot.
Was it Pellegrini? Was it what's his name? Who's the?
He was like Puel, but even worse. And
Yeah.
Never met.
When you look at the squad, though, But when you look at the squad you've had some decent players through there. I think you've had Obervarel come through there. You've had when Lovren was there, Lovren was actually all right. When he came to us, I don't know what happened. Nathaniel Klein.
Lovren, I watched him play. The first game I watched him play was against Sunderland at home. I remember after 5 minutes, I turned around to the lad that I went with, and I went, "He won't be here next season. He's too good."
Because he came from Leon.
Gravy, the first 6 or 8 games he played for us, you thought, "My God, he's way too good for us, this boy." So obviously,
this is what I'm saying.
Like you say, then we had Toby Alderweireld on loan for a year. We weren't able to keep him. He went to Spurs, and then obviously we had, and the glue alongside that the whole time was Jose Font. Which he's about to lead Lille to the Ligue 1 title as well. So I think people don't give him enough credit. He's a serious operator. He came into the Portugal team at the start of the Euros. They won the thing. Like, the guy is gravy. I think he made, of course, Van Dijk, of course, Alderweireld and Lovren are good players. Of course they are. But I think playing alongside Jose Font was a lot to do with their success as well.
So SS, do me a favour, flick to a couple of these comments. We've got some real good comments coming in here. We've got a good one. We've got a good one coming from Samuel Tompkins in there.
We have, yeah. So just touching on transfers, there's one question for Southampton and one question for Liverpool. So Mitch, if things was to move on, is there anybody that you'd see as an ideal replacement or even realistic?
You boys can't.
Is Minamino
that boys can't lose him. You boys can't lose him. If you lose him, that's a big problem. Shea Adams can't do the job. If you boys lose him, that's big problems.
It is a big problem. Shea Adams is good. I think Shea Adams has got his uses playing in there too. He does a lot of dirty work that allows Ings to do the glory boy stuff. But yeah, it would be a massive problem if he went. The obvious one is obviously the boy at Brentford,
Ivan
Toney.
I don't think that's realistic. I don't think we can afford him, to be honest with you. I think someone richer than us will if they don't go up, will stump up a lot of money for him. He looks very good. I mean, other than that, jeez, you're looking at doing what we did when we were successful under Koeman in finding someone from the Dutch league or the Portuguese league or the Belgian league or something that comes in as a success. But all those sorts of 8 to 15 million pound signings from those leagues are always massive gambles. You can end up with a Man or you can end up with a case.
Exactly.
But do you know what though? The strength of any scouting department in a successful team like a Southampton, like a Leicester, for example, it can't be underpinned. I mean, I talk about it. I've spoken about it before, and I've been shot down about it. But creative transfers where your scouting team is going out and they're pulling gems from, like you said, Holland, France, places like that. You look at signings that you boys have made, and you've made money on. Look at what you signed Virgil for, and look at what you sold him for. That's a huge return on investment. Sadio Mane, another one, huge return on investment. There's been a number come through Southampton. I mean, I just want to get through a couple more of these comments as well before we move it on.
Yeah, first, a good shout out to Genie in a Bottle. Great stream, lads. Cheers very much for that. We've got what happened to the other Kyle Walker-Peters as well. I know you said he was missing for a couple of the games as well, Mitch, on that one, but I think he's done okay. But yeah, the other one that was linked, we had Soups in the comments. Schneid, thanks for Schneiding all those years ago. Obviously, he was pretty good at Southampton, wasn't he? But
yeah, Soups, a United fan.
No, agree. But there's one here as well in terms of Liverpool. I know another player from Lyon. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but Awar or something.
Aura. Yeah, Aura. Yeah.
Thoughts on, should we go for him? 25 to 30 million potentially. What do you guys think? Is that realistic for maybe both of our clubs?
Can I get first shout on this one?
Go
on, mate.
Mate, he's a fantastic player. He's a very smooth operator, but I think he's almost like one of those luxury players. Like is he a player that you're going to have to get people around him to kind of carry his game, because he doesn't do the gritty work. He's not nasty. He's not mobile. He's not mobile. He's not athletic. So I'm a bit worried about that one there, to be honest, because when we had Coutinho, I mean, Mitch will obviously know all about Coutinho, the bangers that he scored at Southampton.
we nearly signed him before you did.
That's it. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. I don't know. The jury's out on that one for me. I feel like for Liverpool, we need someone more athletic, someone who's going to run hard. You look at our midfield; it's very industrious. It's a workhorse midfield. And yeah, we might be. Yeah, we know your thoughts on this, SS. We know your thoughts. But we may need a little bit of creativity in there. But I do feel we need the legs in there as well. I mean, I know SS, you're desperate for a mass clear out.
Yeah.
But is this a sign in which you would? Yeah, Mitch, I'm shocked as well. Is this?
There's a lot of deadwood.
But is this something you'd want to see, SS? Is this something you'd be in favour of?
Yeah, well, to chuck in a name that deals with both of us, thoughts on Taki. He'd be one that I would be looking to move on. I know he started well with you guys, Mitch, but he's not done a lot since he first came in, has he?
No, I don't really know what's happened with him. I think he had a little niggle. He missed a game or two, and then obviously international break, he was off the other side of the world and took a little while to recover from that. He just built up any sort of head of steam with us. I think his first game was Newcastle. I think he scored.
Yeah,
and he thought, he looks a cut above the players that we've got in that position. Like I mentioned before, the Redmonds and the Ginepos and people like that. I mean, he's definitely in terms of quality above that level. I'd be quite happy if we could sign him. I don't think we can afford him at the current state. And going back to the boy from Leon, he's definitely not a realistic target for us. But my God, he'd be good in our team. I'd have him.
No, I mean, I'd like to see Taki move on. I think Southampton would be the perfect fit. I don't think we'd ask for loads and loads of money. We signed it for 7 million. So I think if we was to, get anything around 20 or just below that, I think that would be a good deal. But like answer to your question, James, yeah. Aouar, I think would be decent, but I think we need to decide on what Liverpool's philosophy and shape and formation is going to be next year before we start buying a number 10. Because if we stick with a 4-3-3 with a DM in there, there's not much room for him unless, like Mitch says, with an Armstrong, you end up playing them out wide, don't you? So it doesn't really work. So I'd like to see
and Thiago in the same team, could you?
Well, exactly. It's an interesting one, but I'd like to see like Mitch made a really good point at the start of the stream. Southampton have a really good 11, but there's not much outside of that. As soon as you get 3 or 4 key injuries, you're in big trouble. And Liverpool are exactly the same. We keep our first choice 11 fit and in form all season, we win the league, which we showed last season. But in this very strange season, as Mitch has mentioned a few times, it's killed us, isn't it? And 3, 4, 5 massive injuries, and we're playing the backup brigade, which I call the Deadwood FC, and are not good enough. And I think we could move 5 or 6 on this season and not miss them because they don't feature anyway. So less numbers doesn't always mean.
Don't give us 5 or 6. Give us names. Who do you want out?
So
don't get him started. Don't get him started. We'll be here all night and we'd have nothing left.
I guess them. Keita, Chamberlain.
Yeah, Origi, Shaqiri.
Yeah,
Keita. I think Phillips could move on as well as he's done.
Oh, SS man, you're killing me.
Can we have Nico Williams off you?
Yeah, definitely for a loan.
I'll drive him to you. I'll drop him off now. That's one person I will package, put a bow on it, and drop him off.
I'd have him. I think he's all right.
He needs a loan, definitely.
Yeah,
do you know what?
In that.
What's that?
Leicester just gone 2-1 up.
Oh no.
Oh god.
No, that's the end of that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're signing off after that. Right. Yeah, God. Oh man. Do you know what? Right? I just don't know what to make of it. Maybe United can get an equaliser. I'm just gonna take my top off and reveal my United shirt. Maybe not. Anyway, just jogging it on slightly. So what I want to do is talk about a little something which I blurted my mouth out on a Twitter space. Anybody who uses Twitter, you'll know that we sometimes do Twitter spaces where we're talking about various different things. And prior to the Southampton game, I made a very, very open comment and said, if Thiago scores in the Southampton game, I will do a forfeit. So, ladies and gents, in the comments, smash the comments, give us a couple of examples of what kind of forfeit you would like to see Thiago's father do, because my son has finally scored. All right. And I need to show my gratitude. So give us a couple of ideas. Obviously, smash the comments box and we'll come to those right at the end.
Yeah.
But what I want to do is kind of touch on, where do Liverpool go from here? We know that United are losing currently 2-1 to Leicester. They need 7 points from their remaining games to guarantee top 4 football. We're banking on them at least losing 1, if not 2 games in their remaining games. All right. So as the results currently stand, they're 2-1 up against United. Does that mean that Liverpool's season and their charge for top 4 is over? Is this it, dead and buried, if Leicester win this game?
Well,
SS, what are you telling me?
If we got 4 left, if we won every game, we get 69. Leicester sit on 66 as it stands with 2 games to go. It's not happening, is it? Let's be honest. We're not winning every game, are we? Even if we do, as you say, we're relying on Leicester. You know, even a draw for them, you know, they might be able to get over the line. So it's a massive, massive ask now. But I was having a good chat with my brother earlier on, and you know, we're looking at the Man United team news dropping. You know, Mitch asked us off air what we made of the team news, and you know, it's Liverpool have put themselves in a position where we're relying on Man United reserves to get a result. And you know, you look at the matches that we had at home. You know, around that Southampton loss away, you know, we were losing at home to Fulham. That was their last win, still, and they got relegated last night and looked very average at home to Burnley. And you know, we've lost at home to Brighton and to Burnley. We've drawn with West Brom. We've drawn with Newcastle twice. We've only got ourselves to blame.
Incredible, isn't it? What was it, 65 games unbeaten, and then you won 1 out of 10 or something?
Literally,
yeah. Well,
it's mad.
But do you know what though? So, Mitch, I'll throw this one at you then. When teams come to Anfield, I'm not being funny. Yeah, we're everyone's cup final. We're the champions at the moment. We obviously know City are going to lift the Premier League. We're going to concede the Premier League at the first time of asking. But when you come to the home of the champions, you're going to be bang up for it. Yeah. Couple that with the fact that there's no crowd. Anfield is renowned for the atmosphere. There's no atmosphere there at the moment because obviously there's no crowd. And that is one thing that I am not doing. That is one thing I'm not doing. The beard is going nowhere.
What about that one?
You need to wear a United shirt for a show. Oh God. I'd feel more comfortable wearing an Everton shirt, to be honest. I don't think I could wear a United one.
That's a bizarre rivalry, that is. You're all sat there sharing chips with each other. It's bizarre. What's wrong with it?
Nothing like the Southampton Portsmouth rivalry, is it, Mitch?
No, we get police escort from the station to the ground. It's proper nasty.
Jesus. But guys, we'll get to these forfeits at the end. Keep them coming in the comments box though, because there will be something. I will be hand selecting my forfeit. Yeah. So anyone talking about shaving or beards.
I think we should get to select it.
Oh God.
We'll do a poll with the best 4 answers, and whatever one wins.
We'll do a poll. I think that's the fairest way of doing it. That's the fairest way of doing it. So sorry, as I was saying, so when teams come to Anfield, it's everyone's cup final. They're all up for it. They're bang up for it. Yeah. So what do you think, Mitch? Does that reflect on us? Has this season just been an off, crazy one? What's your thoughts?
I think, yeah, I'm not sure being champions makes it that much more of a cup final. I mean, Liverpool, Man City, these clubs, if you're a bottom half team and you're going to Liverpool, you're going to Arsenal, you're going to Man City, you're going to United, is being champions that particular year make a massive difference? I'm not convinced it does. I think they're a big game regardless. I'd have to argue a little bit your point on atmosphere. Of course, Anfield is special on big European nights, but I've been to a couple of 3 o'clock Saturday games at Anfield where it's been dead, completely. And that, all right, probably not the last year or so when you've been quite good, but just before that, I was it was the old "where's your famous" atmosphere and all that, but. Of course, it's for all the smaller clubs, you go to Anfield. I think that it's quite simple. Liverpool. I'm not going to, in the same way Man City couldn't compete last year without Laporte. You lose Virgil van Dijk. Not only have you lost the best defender probably in the world, but nobody's mentioned the fact that he starts most of your attacks. excellent on the ball. His distribution is brilliant. He play, like you said before, you haven't got the most, technically gifted midfielder in the world. You have got, what I call dogs of war who run between the penalty boxes. And you've got three, forwards, and you've got your very good defender, and you've got your first choice back four out, and you've got your legs in the middle, which is probably why Thiago hasn't quite worked this season, because he doesn't quite fit into that, and it's probably a big change for the whole team to have to adapt to him more than anything. But yeah, I think overriding thing for me would be the Van Dijk injury would be the explanation of Liverpool's season. Really, it's quite simple.
Yeah, I think it's been a big thing, and me and SS spent a lot of time at the beginning of the season defending it and saying, do you know what, Van Dijk's a huge miss. Then Gomez is out. Then Henderson's missing. Fabinho had time out.
I'll tell you what,
Thiago had time out.
Wait, him, Fabinho. I think he's very good.
Top player.
Why did you get the Henderson thing at all? Henderson, I think, Henderson gets a lot of flack, doesn't he? But I think he's very good at what he does. Like I say, he is energy. He is tackles. He is, he's what I call a water carrier. He moves the ball on quickly. He doesn't, he knows he ain't the most talented on the ball, but he moves it on and he gives it to someone better than him. Every team needs that, and I think he's a key part of your midfield when he does play. And I couldn't understand for the life of me him playing centre back. It just didn't suit his at all. Made no sense.
No, it didn't suit his game. Didn't suit his game in the slightest.
No, I didn't get it at all.
I think Klopp at that point was searching for solutions, because the drop off in form was steep. We went from being in and around top of the league, top to second, whatever it was, in and around that part where we could still strike within striking distance. We were there, and then we lost Gomez, and Klopp again was searching for solutions. Here we go. Henderson shouting, "Come on, lads," and setting up group chats and WhatsApp. But do you know what, though?
I've always said that he's a bit like our Roy Keane, isn't he? He's the guy that doesn't let you drop below 8 out of 10, and without him there, everybody else's levels drop, don't they?
100%, and that's it. He's not giving you, if you're playing with Jordan Henderson, he's not giving you a moment's rest. You're not getting a moment's rest on the team, and you need that character in the dressing room. You need that character around the team that's going to keep the levels up. And like you said, you ain't dropping anywhere lower than a 7 out of 10. And there's a lot of professionals out there that have made fantastic careers out of being 7 out of 10s. That's all you've got to be a top pro, is 7 out of 10. Week in, week out, and that is a no from me also. Guys, keep smashing the comments box. Keep smashing the absolute comments box. For those of you that have just joined, I have got to do a forfeit live on Red Sea Pod. It won't be tonight; it will be another time because Thiago scored a goal on the weekend. So keep smashing that comments box. Keep hitting the likes, like and subscribe. There will be a forfeit live on Never a Foul via the Red Sea Pod at some stage. But I've already ruled some of these out because you are asking some audacious things. We're not doing any United stuff. We're doing nothing like that. No beards coming off. There'll be none of it. All right? But keep smashing up the comments and keep smashing up the likes button. So I really think it's important to move on to the next segment in the show. And this is something we wanted to do because this man that we're about to talk about, one of the greatest goal scorers, we have to say, probably in Premier League history. This man right here, Matt Le Tissier. So, Mitch, what goal was that? Do you know that one?
The Newcastle one, isn't it? He flicks it over, can't remember who the defender is, and then sits down. I think it's Mike Hooper in goal for Newcastle.
Yeah.
Sort of scuffs it into the far corner. I think he says that he doesn't rate that goal because he scuffed the finish. I think he's a bit irked by that. I think it would be higher in his list if he'd have nailed the side foot into the corner, but he just sort of scuffed it a bit. But yeah, it wasn't bad, was it?
Yeah. Something that does get underpinned though is he's a one club man as well, though, isn't he? So he had. Sorry, carry on, Mitch. Sorry.
Had his chances to move, but
that's it. Yeah.
I was going to get into a bit of that as well, but like you say, one man club, 443 games, 161 goals, that iconic 7 that we all got used to seeing him wear. But yeah, some of those goals, I know you mentioned that one was the Newcastle game. He scored 2 outrageous goals in that same game, didn't he?
He did. He would also want me to point out the stats you just gave were league only. He got over 200.
No, I agree. That was, like you say, he was in the 100 club for the Premier League.
He knows, and I tell you what, he could tell you all of them as well. If you went, oh, you scored Tuesday night at Ninian Park, you go, oh yeah, what happened was, he remembers all of them.
But that's goal appreciation though. When you're a striker and you remember all of your goals, it's because they mean something, because you want to score all different types of goal. Yeah, so that's goal appreciation. And again, from a coaching perspective, all three of us were talking before we came on live. We all coach at various different levels and so on and so forth. And those are the kind of things that you're trying to drill into your strikers and your forward players is scoring all different types of goal and appreciating the goal. And that's good to hear that even a man at his level remembers every single goal he scored, how it came about, and all of that, because as I said, it's goal appreciation. SS, hit us with some more facts for me, please, bro.
No, definitely. I just want to touch on what Mitch said. He had his chance to move. There was links with Chelsea, Spurs, United, Blackburn when they were, at the top of the table as well. Any kind of reasons why that didn't happen, Mitch, or do you think it was just a love of Southampton?
I know Matthew Harding, Chelsea was he chairman, I think, back in the day. Was a massive fan, and he was dead keen to sign him. There's some in-joke. I think he's died now, hasn't he? But there's some in-joke there where he's given. There's a check in Dad's office written by Matthew Harding which says, I think Dad made some comment about, "Oh, I'll move to Chelsea if you move it to the coast," and he wrote a check out to Chelsea on Sea for £7 million, and it's on Dad's desk. So Chelsea definitely wanted him. I think ironically when Hoddle was manager actually. But the closest he came to moving, I'm pretty sure, was Tottenham. He went and spoke to them pretty seriously, I think, and it sort of had been decided that he'd move at the end of the season, and then he changed his mind, I think.
No, it's good that you mentioned Glenn Hoddle, because I was looking at the England stats, and it's something that me and Thiago's father have mentioned a lot. We do a lot of tier lists with Liverpool legends, so back to the 70s to the present day, and a lot of Liverpool's legends, you look at the England stats, and it doesn't really match up with the quality that they were. And I do the same with your dad, and it's very odd to see that he didn't really feature as much as he should have done. And you mentioned Hoddle. I think the '98 World Cup was the kind of final straw, wasn't it? He missed out on the squad, and I don't think he featured again after that.
No, he didn't. He scored a hat trick in the England B game leading up to the World Cup. Hoddle was there, and from what I sort of understand, obviously I was quite young at the time, but there was sort of a big furore off the back of that. Well, he's going to go, isn't he? Like, he's just banged the hat trick in the B team.
What more can you do?
And he left it, just bombed him out, just left him out. But I think, obviously, for whatever reason, maybe, I think he thinks maybe Hoddle and Venables, actually, who would have been a Tottenham manager at the time, maybe had something against him for not signing for them when he could have done, perhaps. I think the other thing, obviously, he was around at the same time as Paul Gascoigne. Could you fit those two in the same team? You'd have to have some runners next to you, wouldn't you?
Yeah, similar, aren't they? Oh, agreed. No, that's a good point. There's one I wanted to touch on, mate. The testimonial 2002. I imagine you remember that game.
I do, yeah. I do.
Talk us through that one.
Well, it's a bit of a family affair, really. My Uncle Mark was refereeing. My other two uncles, Carl and Kevin, put a lot into getting themselves fit to play. I think they both retired some 2 or 3 years before, at least, from playing at a decent standard sort of in Guernsey. But I remember they're making a big effort to get themselves fit enough to play in it. And it was quite a light-hearted affair, and people shooting from the halfway line and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I remember they come off at half time, and Dad played the first half for England. It was England versus Saints, and he played the first half for England, and he was going to play for Saints in the second half, so obviously he wanted to finish in a Southampton shirt. And I said to him, "Oh, can I come on later?" And he went, "Yeah, probably. Why not?" So I come on for Peter Beardsley for about 4 minutes to go, and I can't remember. I think Ian. Yeah, it was Ian. That was it. It was Ian Wright dived for a penalty. I mean, it was blatant dive, proper dive, like testimonial dive. Let's win a penalty for the kid to take. And he put the ball on the 6-yard line, and I was dead genuine. I didn't think. I thought, he's played for England. He should know where the penalty's taken from, surely, right? So I've gone up like 10. And I've gone and ball up. And he's gone, you take it. And I was like, oh, all right. So I'm going to pick the ball up. And he's going, no. I was like, that's where you take a penalty from, Ian.
Yeah. God, don't you know?
Yeah, so I'd like to think I sent the keeper the wrong way.
Give him the eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. Yeah.
A bit of a farce after that, to be honest. Kevin Keegan gave his shirt to a ball boy, who was probably not any older than I was, I don't think. So we sort of had this situation where sort of two kids running around playing against, literally kids playing against like Premier League footballers for 5 minutes. Very bizarre.
But what a moment, though! What a moment!
That's mad. Yeah, it was amazing. I remember I scored a goal, and obviously at that age, you sort of think, oh my god, like playing in front of a crowd, like and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. I always remember sort of doing a knee slide in front of the Northern end, and they're singing "Sign him up," and all that. So that was,
yeah.
That's awesome.
Sure.
No, that's brilliant. Just a few other things as well to touch on. Obviously, there's a few good comments that come in as well. So you did mention the penalty record. I imagine out of the 48 he took, he always gets asked about the one, right?
Yeah. Don't think anyone's ever asked him about when he scored.
No, it was the 47. What an unbelievable record from the spot. I know you said they're not all screamers, but that's an outrageous stat, isn't it?
That's insane.
Yeah, it's pretty good, to be fair. I think he had a bit of a method that worked. Keepers didn't quite latch on to what it was. He kind of was always going to go keeper's left unless he saw them move, and then it's easier to wrap your foot around it and go the other way rather than start to go that way and then open up and be a bit awkward and try and go in the other corner. So he had a bit of a theory that obviously worked. And he hit him with power as well. Like you see, obviously the Aguero one at the weekend. And Ricky Lambert obviously was exceptional from the spot for us as well. And obviously he had a similar sort of style. He basically backed himself that he would hit the top, that he could hit the corners with enough pace that the goalkeeper didn't matter really.
Similar record.
Yeah, and I don't think he ever missed one for us. So obviously worked.
No, absolutely.
I mean, in the comments, there's a fantastic one in here from Soups about your father's favourite strike partner. Throw that one up for me.
Absolutely.
So did your dad have a favourite strike partner? And if he had to pick one and one only, who would it be? Who was the man that was his yin to his yang, his custard on top of his apple crumble? Who was that man?
I mean, he had some proper old school number 9s, didn't he? In them days, you had Shipley, Dow. Obviously, Shipley's a bit tainted now, but we won't go into that. Obviously, Ian Dowie. You had. Was it Paul Rideout? Ex-Everton guy, played for Tranmere at the end of his career. I think he was at Saints for a year.
You might know better than me, Mitch.
Yeah, big old sort of target man types that sort of, I guess he sort of played off the bits and bobs from them. But I guess I don't know in terms of relationship on the pitch, but probably off the pitch, the two that stand out would be Gordon Flash Watson. Obviously, he was a Sheffield Wednesday man before he came to us, and the other one latterly would have been James Beattie, I guess.
Right.
Still gets on very, very well with both of them, so I'd probably say one of them too.
I was going to say with like a James Beattie, then would he have probably learnt a lot from your dad, having that kind of older statesman around the team? Surely that would have impacted on James Beattie's career and how he played the game.
Yeah, I would have thought so. Obviously, it was more of a number 9, but certainly I think there's shades of it in there. He used to take a good free kick as well. So I think he used to sort of, when Dad would practice after training or whatever, I think he would sort of join in and pick bits up. And he took penalties in a similar way as well. So there's definitely some kind of influence there. I know they were quite good mates from quite early on. I think Beats was 20 odd when he came to Southampton, and I think Dad had just sort of got divorced and was single, so the two of them used to enjoy a night out together, I think.
Guys, there's a couple of good questions I just wanted to get through. One from me.
Yeah, I was going to say
the goals obviously that we've mentioned. The one at the Dell, the last goal we did score for the Saints against Arsenal. I think Beattie was in the team that day as well. Yeah. Goal of the season against Blackburn in '94. The free kick against Wimbledon when he played it back, lobbed it up for himself and hit it on the volley. Did he have a favourite goal?
Yeah, the Blackburn one.
What's the Blackburn one?
There's a bit of a story to it. Tim Flowers was obviously in goal for Blackburn.
His mate, right?
from Saints to Blackburn. I think
what a goalkeeper! What a goalkeeper!
He said when he left Saints, "You'll never score past me." The year before, I think he scored a pen, and pens don't count. And Dad sort of waited for him at the end of that game. Went, "Is that one counting?" Flowers apparently. I don't think I've ever met Tim Flowers, but apparently he's quite quick with the jibe. And apparently he just came with how many points do you win? Because I think Blackburn won the game 3-2. Just came straight back. How many points did he get? But no, that's definitely his favourite. And obviously from an emotional, sentimental point of view, of course, the one at the last goal at the Dell, which I actually think is a bit of an underrated goal. Like it's a serious,
serious stuff.
But straight in the top corner. And obviously, everyone plays up the emotional significance of that goal and stuff. I don't think it probably doesn't get enough sort of technical appreciation. So it's a pretty decent thing.
No, I agree.
There was a comment further up from Soups, and I know that I know obviously we're waxing lyrical about your dad, but you're your own man. This is as much about him as it is about you. Talk to us about your role in football now and what you're doing with yourself. We talked a little bit off air, but I'd like the viewers to know a little bit about yourself, pal. So the floor is yours, my man.
Funny enough, off the back of that testimonial, I did get a trial at Saints. I went for a couple of trials and stuff, and got told I was too small and not good enough, basically. And I think that kind of put me off football. I kind of then, within 3 or 4 years, probably just drifted away from playing. And probably by 14 or 15, I'd had enough. I didn't want to play anymore. I've come back to it since I moved back to the UK in 2013. Shortly after that, I started coaching. And it's kind of the coaching side of things that's kept me in the game, really. I worked sort of with a local non-league club at 16s and 18s for 2 or 3 years. And then more recently, I've sort of started my own little sort of business, sort of coaching very, very little ones between sort of age 3 and 6 or 7 on a Saturday morning. So a lot of fun with that. So obviously not loads of technical coaching with them, but I have a lot of fun. And yeah, it's good to see the kids, especially after obviously the year that we've been through recently, with them kind of coming out and doing normal stuff and running around, big smiles on their face and stuff. So really enjoying that at the moment.
Fantastic. And I mean, talk to us a little bit about your kind of qualifications in the game again, because we touched a little bit on that off air. A lot of people that aren't involved in the game at any kind of capacity, but they're just viewers of it, don't really know how much hard work goes on behind the scenes in terms of coaching and planning. Obviously, myself and SS, we coach at various different levels, but it was great to hear that you also coach and that you're at quite a high level in terms of your coaching badges. So you're a B licensed coach, aren't you?
Yeah. So obviously, kind of put myself through the qualifications and all that. So enjoyed that. But you're right, a lot goes into it, and it's not. To be honest, if I'm being brutally honest, I don't use a lot of what I've learned on the courses. I like to come up with my own stuff and watch games, and come up with stuff from watching games and making notes and stuff. So I'm not a massive one of the badges, to be honest. They serve a purpose if you want to coach to a level, because you've got to have them. But I think if you watch enough football and you understand the game, and you can come up with ideas and theories and stuff of your own, I think that's just as valid. But yeah, in terms of planning, there is a lot going. I mean, even for my sessions for 3 and 4 year olds, which will include things like what's time Mr. Wolf with the football and things like that. But there's still planning stuff to sit there on a couple of nights before, and I used to get your pen and your notepad and you scratch something out that makes no sense to anyone else, but you know what. So there's always, even with that, which is an hour on a Saturday morning with very young kids, there's always a plan in it. There's always a bit of prep gone into it. Otherwise, you can end up looking a bit silly, as you guys will probably know.
Absolutely.
The thing is, you never ever get found out by the parents. You always get found out by the kids.
Because as long as you're enthusiastic, the parents don't notice.
Exactly. It's true because you'll be sitting there, you'll be putting on this, what you think in your head is just amazing practice, and you're thinking it's going great, and one of the kids come up to you and they're giving you a nudge going, mate, this is crap. And you're do you know what I mean, at all ages, from when they're 6 and 7, right the way through to 12, where we're kind of, or 11 and 12, where we're kind of at. They'll always let you know if the practice is great, or they'll always let you know if it's crap. And like you said, you know, you watch enough football, you come up with concepts, you come up with ideas that are more game-related practices rather than just drills and cycles through on the same things. You want a bit of realism in your coaching. I mean, SS, obviously you coach as well. Is it the same for you being involved in the game at a certain level?
No, it's a really good question. Obviously, with Mitch doing 3 and 4 year olds, I started with my lot when they were about 5, 6. So I wasn't right at the start, but there's still a massive journey, isn't there? And you start off with the basics of the rules of the game, and as you go through, you go from 5-a-side to 7. We're now at 9s, and then we go competitive next year. So it's a little bit of progression every year. You know, the ball gets bigger, the goals get bigger, the pitch gets bigger, and the match gets longer. So as Mitch said, you just, as long as you can scribble something down that makes sense, that's going to improve the boys, and you watch them on a weekend, and if there's one thing that stuck out, you'll do your training on exactly that the following week, won't you, to improve. So it's great fun. It's really rewarding, and like all 3 of us knows, that's why we're in it, because it's rewarding, and it's great to see the kids. I've had the same group since they were 5, and they'll be turning 12 come September. So to see them, grow and develop as little players and as people is an absolute pleasure.
Right. As much as it pains me, go on, throw that last comment up.
They've been waiting for it, haven't they? It's done. It's done.
Yeah, it's done. It's done. Congratulations to in all seriousness, congratulations to Manchester City for winning the league. Obviously, it was great for Liverpool for winning it last year. Me and SS are always talking about revenge tour. We're obviously going to be on a revenge tour next year to win that trophy back. Obviously, I don't know what this means for us for top 4. It's going to be a hard slog. Leicester have still got to go to Chelsea.
Yeah, they've still got Chelsea. They've still got Spurs, haven't they? But I think that's just them there over the line now, isn't it? Yeah,
so I'm hoping we can go to Manchester United and get the result on Thursday. And again, just keep fighting, because that's it. We just keep fighting to the end. It does make the chance of top 4 football a lot more slim than it was before this 90 minutes was over. But we keep going to the end. Guys, like I said, we've got a few more minutes left of the show. Smash and bang the likes and the comment section. What we'll do is the top forfeits that are in there for me, we'll whack them in a poll. We'll put them out on Twitter, and then we'll deliver the results live on air, where I will then, do the forfeit. But one thing I can clarify: the beard is going nowhere.
I know where I want to end the video with, Mitch. I know you retweeted our thing about a little, I might even have a dirty little secret to divulge. And have you got any other little gems of stories that you could share with us?
Trying to think. Probably not, actually. I'm just trying to think of.
Oh yeah, that's
I think. Have you got a Liverpool shirt from this season, or?
Yeah, have you got it behind you? Have you?
Yeah. You got anyone on the back?
No one on the back. We don't do names on the back.
Williams on the back.
Sorry?
I want Nico Williams on the back.
Next season. He was saying he was going to cut it up.
Oh God. I did say earlier on as well. I get quite ranty in our group chats. And I can't remember what I was banging on about something. I was like, I'm just going to cut up my Liverpool shirt live on air, because I was going on a major rant. But God, it has been a crazy season. Ultimately, if we don't get Champions League football, it will be a massive, massive anticlimax from the heights of last year. All we can kind of do is next year hit on that revenge tour and go out and claim back what obviously Daps in the comments believe is just a rental trophy, and we'll obviously check out and get it back.
No, I agree.
Yeah, hopefully.
One other thing I was just gonna touch on, obviously looking forward. Your dad was on Gillette Soccer Saturday, and I used to love watching him on that. And it's a shame he's not on that anymore. But what does the future hold for you, mate? What's Matt up to as well these days?
Football wise, for me, I think just carry on with the coaching. sort of see where that takes me. Really, I'm really enjoying actually being out of the competitive stuff, which is quite unusual for me. I think I'm quite competitive, but really enjoying the stuff with the little ones and just putting a smile on their face really at the moment. The old man, I think he's been doing a bit for some of the foreign TV channels. I think Malaysia and Indonesia, perhaps. Some coverage. Can't remember the life of me the channels. He's been doing a bit of that sort of stuff. I think one of them he goes up to London for a studio for, and the other one he does sort of on Zoom. But he's been doing a bit of that. I think he's got a few bits on for the Euros, obviously.
Excellent.
Yeah, so where he goes from there, and I'm not really sure what the future holds for him. He's definitely ruled out coaching and managing and stuff. So
I was wondering about that.
I imagine it'll be media more than anything. But I guess we'll see what happens there.
No, he's very, very good at it, and it is. I do miss watching him on a Saturday afternoon. That was one of the highlights of my weekend. So that is a shame.
Very, it's very honest opinions that you get, and it's good to see a pro or an ex-pro, go on and give very, very candid and honest opinions about their view on the game as it is now, because it has changed. The game's got more technical in some aspects. Certainly from sort of number 10 position, striking positions, it's a little bit more technical, but the aim of the game is still the same, and it's stick that round thing in between those two posts and, outscore the opposition. And that's kind of the end of it, isn't it? But guys, we're heading towards the end of the show. You've got a few more minutes or a few more seconds just to get a few more comments in that comments box, a few more forfeits in there, because a lot of people are talking about shaving off the beard, and it is going nowhere. This is not a lockdown beard. This has been growing, maturing. A lot of time, effort has gone into this beard. Yeah, it's going nowhere. All right, but you've got a few more seconds to get a few more comments in there. SS, what are we doing? Sorry, Mitch.
What's the Martial story?
The what? Sorry.
I'll to put that as your display picture.
What's the Martial story?
Oh God. Okay. So I hate Anthony Martial. I cannot stand Anthony Martial. I think he's an absolute fraudster in terms of a striker. Can you believe that when he moved to Manchester United, Monaco inserted a Ballon d'Or clause in the contract, saying that he could potentially win the Ballon d'Or? He's been nowhere near. He's not even been on nominated list. He's a fraud. I like Rashford. I think Rashford's better than him. But for some reason, Ollie persists with this whole Martial agenda. And Ty, who's one of our hosts on Never a Foul, he runs the Trafford Tunnel. Ty absolutely loves Martial, so much so he's got a Martial pillow. It's oh God, it's bad. It is horrendous. But yeah, I can't stand Martial. What am I hiding underneath the beard? Layers of fat, layers of lockdown fat, which I am not going to reveal to the world. And if I shave the beard off, I'm probably going to look about 12, and I'll get ID'd for alcohol. So it's going nowhere, gents. The beard is staying. Right.
Love it.
SS. We've come to the end. We've come to the end of another segment of At the Red Sea Pod. Mitch, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, pal. Thank you for coming on and spending some time with us and giving us a bit of an insight into yourself, and also an insight into the great man himself, Matt Letizia. It's been absolutely fantastic. Would love to have you back. And, if you want to bring a little partner with you next time when you come on, that would be great. If you can tee it up for us, that would be amazing.
See what I can do.
Good man.
There you go. See, look, that's as good as a contract. He signed and committed to that. That's live now. You can't go back now. You can't go back. So
we got some, we got some good stuff coming up this week, haven't we?
I was going to say, where can they find us this week?
Yes, mate. Yeah. So obviously, Man United match Thursday night. So we're going to be doing some Reds reactions, Reds reviews live after the game on Never a Foul. So definitely check that out as well. Saturday night, we've got another special guest. So should we keep that a secret for now, or?
Yeah, we'll keep that a secret. We'll keep that one a secret.
It's an ex-professional footballer, so definitely it's definitely one to watch. That's on Saturday night. So we'll be reviewing the United game and previewing West Brom. And I think that's it. Other than obviously after West Brom, we'll be doing some more Reds reviews as well with another couple of Liverpool fans. So yeah, keep it Red Sea Pod, keep it Never a Foul.
100%. And guys, head over to all our socials. at the Red Sea Pod on Twitter and on Instagram. We do a lot of Instagram lives. We do a lot of spaces on Twitter as well, where we're just general football chit chat. We always say we're football fans first before we're Liverpool fans. And head over there and catch us on there. Obviously, this has been my co-host SS. I've been Thiago's father, and this has been Mitch Letizia. Thank you for joining us on this segment of At the Red Sea Pod.
Take care, everybody.
Take care, everyone.